That is the plan. Okay, so we're going to start with LEC tier lists. So I made sure we got all of them open, and we are just going to go one by one through all the tier lists, and we're going to rate players. All right, so S tier, where's my boy? Odo. Respect him, man. Super complete. And so also one thing I should state at the beginning of this is like right now. This is right now on this patch, like going into LEC next week, who you want to have on your team. Not like, oh, but in a carry meta, Alfari's better. Like if it becomes just only like GP and Camille, then I would rather have Alfari. Like I'm not doing it, like if the meta completely changes halfway through next split, we'll do another one of these. That's how it works. We're not going to do like the type of where it's like, oh, but we're gonna factor in all these types of things that aren't necessary right now. Like it's a melee mid meta. Why do you have Larson so high? Like, dude, we're just gonna do right now. If you're going into LCS the next week or LEC the next week, who do you want to have on your team? Okay, next, I'll have Alfari and BB in A tier. Question is, do I want to put anyone else in A right now? I don't think so. Yeah, Wonder is still good, but he's just like not Alfari BB tier. It's kind of hard, right? Because Alfari is definitely one of the best laners, but he has kind of bad TP usage. Like BB's had some pretty off games. Like the Gragas game comes to mind, the first Corki game comes to mind, but overall I still think BB's kind of a beast. So I'll be going Wonder, Hear It, Armut, all B tier. I mean, Wonder's had a bunch of like weird lanes that I guess people are not really remembering when people are saying that he should be A tier. Like obviously we have the Gwen lane versus Adam, where Adam completely clapped him into Darius, where he kind of inted and he kind of griefed Razork. I mean, so like these types of plays come to mind. I mean, he had the really nice outplay on the turret, but outside of that, he's had a few rough lanes. I mean, he just played into BB on the Gragas. I mean, I guess that was a fine game. Some like weird. Also, there's the Akali game that comes to mind versus Astralis, where he's just like inting a million times, and the game is stalled out to 40 minutes pretty much because he can't stay alive. I think Armut is really like, he's actually good, but he's been running it so many games that I have to put him at the bottom of B. So I'd have him like 6th place. Next tier, I am going for Finn, who I think is actually pretty decent. I mean, there's an argument to put Finn at the end of B, I would say. There's an argument to put Finn at the end of B. But yeah, I think I'll put him C here, Adam C, and then Gen X and White Knight. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really tough too, because one thing I'm also factoring into this, which, I mean, people can argue this fact, but I think that top laners and people in general have some ability to choose their own champion. I know everyone will be like, oh, maybe it's the coach just being like a fucking dictator and telling you, no, you must play this awful Graves pick that's going to lose us the entire game. Like maybe the coaches are doing that, but most of the time it's actually not the case. And I feel like a lot of the picks that Gen X goes for are like overly safe, made to make him look decent, but they'll like ruin the entire game. So I think Gen X is actually running it down the split though. White Knight is 1v9 on Astralis. I don't feel like he's 1v9 on Astralis. Like I feel like White Knight was really good last split. I feel like this split, like Astralis is actually just super rough. I think maybe the best player on Astralis could be like 8th place. I think maybe Kabi is the best player on Astralis. Maybe he's like the 8th best AD in the league. I think all these players are like bottom 3 in their role. Saying both Hear It and Armut should be lower tier. Okay, so let's say Hear It and Armut are lower tier. Who do you move above them? You're saying Adam's been better than Armut and Hear It as a whole, when Adam has not played one side lane properly the entire game. Like this is the thing about Adam. People don't understand what Adam is doing wrong, because what Adam does wrong is not obvious. So when you're looking at the BDS versus Astralis game and he's playing Olaf and he's perma grouping, it's because he doesn't actually know how to play side lane. He's never really known how to play side lane. So he just permanently is grouped with the team, and they end up with like these weird situations where if they're playing against a better team and you're bringing in a top lane Olaf with Divine Sunder to a team fight versus a Kennen, like it's going to be bad 9 times out of 10. Like Synkrov is actually just carrying BDS. If Synkrov doesn't pop off, BDS just loses, because their laning is generally bad bot and their mid game is atrocious because they don't know how to side lane. Like no one 1-3-1s. They don't know which waves they can push. You don't have Adam ever playing with the TF. Like when in this game did Adam actually go into a side lane and leverage the fact that he had a TF on his team versus the Kennen? Where the Kennen is sitting here like, look at how easy it is to kill this Kennen with a TF ult and an Olaf inside. But instead we're just perma group the entire game. Yeah, that could be good. But the thing about that is also that like Adam doesn't play really good champions to be grouped on either. So he's like doing weird map movements as like Darius and like Olaf, and these champions that don't bring close as much as like a Kennen or an Ornn or like a Gragas or like one of these champions that actually will win you a fight. So yeah, I think it's pretty weird, man. I think Adam just doesn't know how to side lane yet. Okay, how are we starting this one off? Well, Malrong has been the best jungler in EU. So I think that Malrong actually can have games where like the way that he plays could be used against him, but no one has done it, and he's just been down everyone's like throat. So What can you say, bro? This guy is just S tier. This guy is S tier until one of these other junglers that should be able to punish him. So like next I'd probably have Yankos and Elyoya, until one of these guys actually punishes Marong for, you know, sacrificing so much farm in the jungle to gank and to like do things on the map. I can't say anyone's better than him, because like there are things that Marong, like Marong plays a risky style of play, but he's never punished. This is probably my top three. This is my top three junglers right now in LEC. I think these are my top three junglers in LEC. I mean, the question is, do I want to move them to S as well? I don't think so. I want to put it like this. I think Syncroft has been really solid. I think Syncroft's pathing has been top tier, but his team sucks. So, I mean, I think Selfmade has really high highs, and then there's also games where he kind of like runs it randomly. I don't know if I can say Syncroft has been better than Selfmade though. I think that's a tough one. I actually kind of want to move it like this. What happens if I do it like this? That actually might look a little better. I mean, Mark Kuhn and Schlatten, like these guys are actually good. What about this? That actually looks pretty legit to me. But I mean, these guys are legit good. Like this, like these whole 8 are actually really good players. I'll just do them all S. 1 through 8. Razork D, please. Not Razork isn't D, because the thing is that like Razork's mechanics have been really bad. But I'm pretty confident in my Razork rating because I watched so much of him. So I had a huge argument with Veteran about Razork where I was like, I think this guy is like not playing well at all. And he was like, this guy is just as good as he was last split. It's just that like, you know, he's just not getting credit for the way that he's fixing a lot of lanes around the map. So it is true that Razork has some of the best early game pathing around lanes. Like he understands where he needs to be at what times. And there's games where he'll like make pathing movements that will really help his lanes out a lot, and he won't get credit for it. I think his mechanics have been like maybe bottom 3, bottom 4. Like it's been pretty rough mechanically a lot of the game. So he's better than what he's showing right now. Like I have no problem if Razork starts smurfing, moving up to A or even S or whatever. Like this guy is actually good. I don't think Razork is bad at all. I don't think he should be replaced or anything. I just think right now he's like feeling pressured or nervous, or he doesn't really know how to play with the team. But yeah, I mean, I think these top 8 are all good players. I think Gilius can be good, but I think he hasn't shown me enough right now. I think a lot of the games have been just not great games. I mean, Gilius still has the team fight ints, but he hasn't had many of like the Jungle Kingdom's early pathing that I remember from him. And I think Zanzor has been pretty much terrible in every single game. I don't think that Zanzor had maybe like the one Trundle game at the beginning of the split versus G2 that was not bad. But I think Zanzor's really sprinting it. Mid lane. Oh, it's tough. It's tough because I want to put Humanoid at the top, but man, he's had some like weird situations. I mean, Larson's been really good for sure. Vedio's been really good for sure. Is it a triple S angle? Is it a triple S angle? I think it's probably a triple S. Oh wait, why did I put Nuclear in and not Vedio? I wasn't looking. I thought I clicked on him. Okay, we have Caps and Perks probably right after, but I think that I'll put Perks over Caps. I think Caps has had a lot of weird games. Nuclear int will be probably C. Dejo's D. What is this, Certus? Bro, I haven't seen Certus before. I actually haven't seen Certus before. Oh, let's see. How are we gonna do the rest of it? I mean, you could do no S, but I feel like I feel like Larson has been close enough to an S. I mean, you could go no S. You can move everyone down, but then I feel like it's really clumped. It's really clumped. I just don't know what you do here. I mean, Nuke Duck is fine. I think the problem is that like, I think we were doing an S. I mean, or we could move another. Wait, how do you make another tier? Can you even make another tier on this thing? But whatever. Okay. Video. I'll definitely do this. I mean, I think Reeker is probably C then. Nuclear Int is rough. I mean, I don't know, man. It could be like this. I mean, I don't think that there's like, I don't really know, man. I don't really feel like there's much difference between like the bottom 4. I think this is kind of what you end up with. I feel like I put Humanoid only S. I mean, I would put Humanoid only S if he was playing like Humanoid, but I mean, we're 7 games in, right? I feel like he hasn't been Humanoid of old. Yeah, let's just go with this. Let's go with this for mid. I think this is fair. I mean, I think that definitely the 1 through 10 is something I'm really okay with. All right, let's go AD carry. AD carry is super hard, man. AD carry is really, really hard. I mean, right now, the best 2 have been Upset and Comp. I think that's for sure. Okay, let's do it like that, and then we'll do the bottom. And Xmatty. I mean, I think that's I think these are fine. I mean, so here's the thing. Like, Unforgiven's been pretty good. Like, he's definitely my 3rd, but I don't know if he's S tier. I'm gonna put him A. I'm gonna put Unforgiven A. Put Kabi 8th. Where do I want to put Flockhead? He's been good. I mean, we could do a triple. I mean, it might be a quadruple A. It could be all 3 of these guys in A. It could be 4 A's to me. Patrick B and then all 4 of these guys A. Honestly, that looks pretty. I think that looks pretty good to me. Honestly, I think that this looks actually pretty good to me. Maybe like this. Upset S for what? Hillsong carrying his Yeah, that's just what happened. Like, Upset is just carried by Hillsong. He's just actually bad. Another thing you have to consider is that, like, I mean, like, this will be an argument for Kha'Zix and Neon. If you're comparing Kha'Zix and Neon to these other guys, like, these other 4 guys have way better supports. Think about the support difference you have here. You have Trimby, who's been smurfing, Hilly, who's beast, kha'zix, who's beast, and Targamas, who's been playing really well. I think Lebrov has actually been griefing Kha'zix quite a bit in lane. Like, we were looking at different angles of him just like a couple of the 2v2 kills, and I feel like it's a lot on like Lebrov not playing the way you'd expect from a laner. You think comp is better than Upset? It's actually crazy how much being on a winning team compared to being on a losing team makes people like overrate people. I remember when I said that comp was like an 81 in my tier list last year, when they were 0-6 on Vitality, and I actually thought comp was good. And people were like, dude, comp is actually like, he just doesn't have the winning mentality. Now he's on Rogue. He's 7-0. He's still good. Like, I mean, now I think he's looking obviously better than he did because like he's on a winning team and he's playing with a better support. But it's so crazy how like people will go from like comp is actually like bad, bro. How do you have comp as like 80 to like now it's like, dude, he's the best by far. There's no competition. That's nuts. Okay, so who are the best supports right now? Trimby, Hilly, and kha'zix. I mean, I'm putting Hilly number 1 though. I think Hilly's a beast. I'm not, these are not finalized. I'm just gonna put people in general areas. I think Limit's been pretty bad. I think Promise Q is, why is Promise Q still in LEC tier? I think Advien is in Screwed Over by Org tier. Screwed by Org. Why is Promise Q still in LEC? Okay. Bruv. Treats. Dude, I've been low on Mersa, man. I feel like Mersa's kind of had an unimpressive showing, but so is Limit. I mean, I'd say Treats is better than Lebrov, but it's just like he doesn't get to show it at all playing with Jesu. Hilly needs his own tier. I mean, I could do an S+. I could honestly do an S+. S and then S+. Trimby's been really good though. Trimby has been really good. Honestly, I might move Limit down. Dude, Limit has been really just like lost on the map, bro. He's been so lost. I like Limit a lot, though. I think he's actually somebody who could be insane, but I don't think he actually knows what he's supposed to be doing a lot of the time. I mean, this is like close, bro. I mean, kha'zix's really good insane. Like, he's really good too. Like, you could do either of these. I mean, probably this would be more where I would lean, actually. I do think kha'zix's a better player than Trimby. I do think kha'zix's a better player than Trimby. Why do you think Targamas is an S? Well, when I think about like Targamas's games, right, I think that he's had the probably the worst game out of like all the S players. Like if you're gonna talk about like who's had the most memorably negative game, you're gonna think of the Tank Zyra game, which I think moves him down on my list when you have such a few amounts of games. Obviously, if you have 18 games in LEC, then that will count against you less. But if you have 7 games and you've had one really awful game in there, I think that that's gonna hurt you.